I have a mixed relationship with drywall. I love the value proposition. The tool set required for the professional result is relatively cheap and it's easy to repair. However, the trade-off is it's messy, takes several days, and the larger sheets are unwieldy for me. The sheet of drywall kept wanting to follow me, and so I added a few clamps to keep it upright while I got it into place with some screws. To help me hang the top sheets, I had a few screws at about 48.5 inches to set the sheet on after lifting it into place. It's common to use 2x4 cutoffs to make a ledge to set the drywall on instead, and that is probably a better method, but this is what I had on hand and it's what I used. I've always sucked at cutting out the electrical boxes with this tool. As you can see in this shot, I'm not even close. It's been over 2 years since I last drywalled. It took longer than I expected to get back into the flow of things. While doing this job, I couldn't figure out why I was hating it more than usual. I realized it was the extra height of the walls compared to the typical 8-foot walls that I've done in the past. This meant I had to use my ladder for all the work near and on the ceiling. In any trade, there are always cheap, craft-specific tools that change the way you work. This 3-in-1 tool from Goldblatt is one of those tools. It has a rasp on the backside to clean up the edges, a hook on the bottom to carry sheets around, and a wedge-style lift to get the gaps between your sheets as tight as possible, even by yourself. There's an affiliate link to it and other tools that I've used for this install in the description if you're interested. When I do a drywalling project, I wear the same pants and shirt for most, if not all, the entire project. So you will notice my pants getting dirtier and dirtier as the project goes on. I've learned with a few tricks drywalling can be done a lot faster. Vancouver Carpenter and Home Renovation DIY have paid dividends for me with the knowledge they share on their YouTube channels. I highly recommend checking them out if you're looking to do drywall in the future. One of those tricks is applying the first skim coat to your corner the same day you tape it, as you see me doing here. And again, you can see how annoying it is to move my ladder around every few feet to reach these corners on these 10-foot walls. Getting dry bits in your mud causes awful gashes in the fresh mud when applying it, so it's best to knock down any ridges from the previous coat before starting the next. Another tip I picked up was spend the time to learn how to use a hawk and trowel. You can put a ridiculous amount of mud on a hawk that just isn't possible with a pan. This method decreased my mudding time for skim coats significantly, and I'm happy I learned it. I continued to add a total of 3 skim coats after I taped the joints before sanding. I don't save any unused compound when I'm done for the night. A few dry bits or debris can ruin an entire batch of compound if it gets mixed in with it. The risk just isn't worth the savings for me, so I always throw away any unused mud that left the bucket. As we all know, sanding sucks, but it was at least nice out on the day that I was sanding, so I was able to open up my garage door and let fresh air in while I sanded. These sanding blocks are the best thing I have found for the corners. They are longer than the orange or yellow ones you may have found at the home center and last a pretty long time. The angles on the edges are great for getting into the corners and sanding them smooth. With the walls primed, it's time to get some color on the walls. I wanted to go for something bold and unique for this space. White. All jokes aside, I am planning on adding a bit of color on the new wall and door trim. I'm undecided on what color I want to go with, so that will be in the next video. With the outer wall painted, I can finally move the miter saw station for the last time. This section slipped off the dolly and the drawer decided to crush my hand pretty good, as you can see by my facial expressions. Okay, we are starting to get things back into shape. Now, time to take care of the existing walls. To patch the holes in the existing drywall, I use Easy Sand 45 instead of traditional drywall compound. This is another tip I picked up from Home Renovation DIY. It comes in a powder, and unlike traditional mud, creates a chemical reaction when mixed with water to cure. The benefits of this are threefold. It cures much faster than traditional mud, it has great shelf life, and it can be worked as it is setting up to get a better finish off of the tool. Since these walls already had paint on them, I tried to get away without putting primer on first and save me some money. The green ended up bleeding through ever so slightly after the second coat, and so I had to come back and put a third coat of paint on. So much for saving me money, I guess. I struggled with this area. My pole wasn't long enough to reach the top of the stairs, and I didn't have a good way to cut the corners. So I laid down 3 boards over this area, which used to be covered up by wood, and precariously placed my ladder over the stairs to get full coverage of the wall. When it's time to paint the ceiling, that part's going to be a little interesting. And that's going to do it for this one. The next video we'll get color on the new wall and trim, get the ceiling cleaned up and ready for lighting, as well as some work getting the shop back in an orderly fashion. Thanks for watching.